Welcome to another edition of the Metaphysical Diet. Here we analyze ways to reprogram the subconscious, utilizing astrological cycles in an attempt to steer life towards a more happy and healthier future. Astrology is the language of the gods, and to understand its profound poetical secrets can help promote deeper awareness towards the subject of metaphysics and human consciousness. With a basic grasp of these concepts, one's physical experience upon this earthly plane can be enhanced. The Zodiac contains many synchronized secrets to universal wisdom concerning man's relationship towards nature and the macrocosm, which can be used as a guide towards harmony and well-being. If society is to improve holistically, it must go back to being once again in tune with nature. The Zodiac can be viewed as a diagrammatic benchmark between the human experience and nature's rhythms and cycles. Consequently, if we embrace our true roots and spiritual connection to these cycles, we may stand a better chance of harmonizing and balancing our body, soul, and spirit, keeping us well away from unnecessary suffering and dis-ease. Astrology, applied astronomy, is the oldest surviving language still in use today. Its glyphs, signs, and form remain relatively unchanged from the days of ancient Sumer and dynastic Egypt. The Sumerians recorded their knowledge of the planets and constellations on clay tablets, which date back thousands of years. Their astrological system influenced the rest of the civilized world, making its way into Egypt, Rome, and throughout the modern world we inhabit today. The reason why astrology is so important is because it identifies and maps cosmic cycles, giving meaning and understanding to the human conscious relationship between the macrocosm, the microcosm, and the logos, basically identifying our true relationship with nature. Ancient myths and legends tell us that astronomy and astrology were given to humanity by the Titan god Atlas before the great deluge, which destroyed Atlantis. It truly is the language of the gods. The Zodiac is presented in code form, where only a handful of readers have the experience and ability to decipher it accurately. Consequently, the further we deviate from its profound wisdom, the greater chance we have of falling out of sync with nature's cycles, bringing forth disharmony and dis-ease upon our latest physical incarnation. When we buy a new car, computer, or kitchen appliance, these items usually come with a user manual explaining how they work and how to get the best use out of them in a safe and user-friendly manner. Unfortunately, when a baby is born, no such information is offered, leaving most parents guessing about their child's strengths, weaknesses, and personality type. However, if parents understood the value of an astrological birth chart and how to read one, they could be ahead of the game and one step closer towards understanding their child's natural and karmic relationship with the cosmos and the world he or she has just entered into. Simply put, the child's birth chart is a diagrammatic record of the position of the planets in the heavens at its moment of birth. This fixes planetary and cosmic energy of various aspects and signs within the child's biology and karmic disposition, giving the infant a unique personality of its own. Once this is understood, the child's strengths and weaknesses can be progressively assessed as it develops and interacts with future transiting planetary cycles within its new physical environment. From an astrological perspective, each planet within our solar system has its own individual character trait. The planets were thought to be gods of the ancient world, a world of polytheistic star and planet worship, considered by some to be the Elohim. In Genesis 1:1, it refers to the Elohim creating the heavens and the earth. The word Elohim is a Hebrew plural term meaning more than one God. In the beginning, Elohim created heaven and earth. Elohim is a grammatically plural noun for gods or deity in biblical Hebrew. This is also backed up by Genesis 1:26, in which us and our are used, referring to more than one God. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness." We live in an electric universe where the electromagnetic effects of the Elohim on our physical biology are tangible aspects of nature's cycles. Consequently, when the sun appears on the horizon, it marks the start of a new day and the beginning of a new zodiac cycle. In ancient Egypt, the sun's electromagnetic energetic influence on human biology was referred to as Horus. So at 6 a.m., Horus was seen rising up, lighting the sky on the horizon. The Egyptians understood the profound influence the sun's position had on our physical behavior. It has always been regarded as the energy source behind our focal consciousness, promoting and energizing us into waking and awareness from the subconscious world of sleep, a world through the veil on the fringes of the spirit realm. As the sun slowly appears in the morning, it spreads its rays, illuminating all that lay in its path. As civilization evolved, moving from the age of Aries into the Piscean age, Christianity rebranded the ancient concept of Horus's angle in the sky, personifying it as an archangel. These archangels, some good and some bad, are really the angle of the planet or luminary in the sky, the angle of El. Consequently, each archangel represents a different planet as it moves across the heavens. It is therefore understandable in this electric universe to find the majority of the archangels' names ending with L. With this knowledge, it is possible to identify the sun's energetic influence on human biology during the course of the day as it progresses across the sky. But first, a basic overall understanding of astrological signs, glyphs and planets is needed to put it all in perspective. When we analyze the individual astrological glyphs For the planets within our solar system, we find they are essentially made up of various combinations from three basic components: the soul, the spirit, and the physical. It is also important at this stage to have a basic grasp of the difference between the focal conscious mind, soul, and the subconscious mind, spirit, along with knowledge of how that aspect of consciousness interacts with the macrocosm and universal consciousness, logos. Our ancestors believed in a triad of consciousness underpinning the human experience, with the focal mind being only a fraction of the capacity and scope of the subconscious. Modern science supports this impressive potential within the subconscious, suggesting it is anywhere between 70 to 95% of the mind's overall capacity. Simply put, the small focal conscious mind can be defined as what we are focusing our attention on at any given moment, whereas the subconscious is the internal emotional part of our mind, the background store deep within us, remembering everything we ever experienced, like a digital hard drive inside a computer. While the focal mind is restricted by physical constraints of time and space, the subconscious connects to the spirit realm, giving it almost unlimited potential and scope outside material constraints. If we look at the Zodiac chart as a single daily cycle from the perspective of common human activities, starting the day at 6 a.m. in Aries, we see some interesting correlations between the zodiac and human behavior. 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., Aries the Ram, ruled by Mars, the start of a new day. As the sun appears on the horizon, most people awaken and come back into focal conscious awareness. They lift their heads off the pillow and once again become aware of themselves from the head down. Many people leave the house and head for work during this time, frantically fighting their way through the morning traffic like competing rams or sheeple. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., Taurus the Bull, ruled by Venus. Most people settle into their daily routine at this time. Like the bull of Taurus, they place themselves in their chosen field, converse and arrange their daily agenda. 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Gemini the Twins, ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. 11 a.m. is the most common time in the United States for meetings to take place. Being the sign associated with the arms and hands, we see many people with practical skills putting their arms and hands to work in an overall productive 2 hours before lunch. 12 noon to 2 p.m. Cancer the Crab, ruled by the moon. The moon is internal sensitivity, seeking emotional fulfillment. The moon rules various areas of the body, including the chest, the breast, the stomach, and the alimentary canal. Here we see most people taking their lunch break, satisfying their inner feelings of hunger. They also take time out to internalize. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Leo the Lion, ruled by the sun. In many countries, with the sun at its hottest, people take a siesta. Many traditional cultures would go home at this time and sleep for a few hours. There is an old saying, to sleep like a lion. This is because lions can sleep up to 20 hours a day if necessary. Various studies have been carried out which suggest the best time to take an afternoon nap is between 2 and 3 p.m. 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Virgo the Virgin, ruled by Mercury. This is the house of health and service to others. Studies have shown that this is the best time for exercise due to its overall body temperature increasing throughout the day, along with heart rate and blood pressure falling, which makes late afternoon the best time for physical exercise. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Libra the balancing scales, ruled by Venus, the house of partnerships and marriage. During this time, the sun fades, disappearing over the horizon. Most people's working day has come to an end, and many of them make their way home to be with their partners or loved ones. From this, we can see how the zodiac, reflecting harmonious natural cycles, would suggest that the best time for eating should be between 12 noon and 2 p.m. This is because the ruling planet of Cancer is the moon, the planet associated with internal emotions, needs and sensitivity. It represents the subconscious, our habitual nature, along with the stomach. Consequently, the zodiac is giving us the perfect window of opportunity to break our morning fast by eating something nutritious each day. The moon has for thousands of years been connected to and represented by water, the feminine, the spirit realm, darkness, and the subconscious. Consequently, it is not surprising to find the same 70-30 ratio in other areas of nature concerning water and the subconscious. From an astrological perspective, the moon represents the following: deepest personal needs, habitual behavior, subconscious mind, feelings, emotions and intuition, spirit, inner child, responsive, receptive and reflective. While the sun represents our wants in the physical world of the focal mind, the moon reflects our emotional needs. There is an old profound saying within the ancient world of esoteric wisdom which tells us that the universe gives us what we need, not necessarily what we want. This is because the subconscious, connected to the spirit realm and universal consciousness, knows us better than we know ourselves here upon this earth. And many of our wants in this physical realm of the focal awareness are the result of subtle suggestions socially engineered for and by corporations with alternative motives, clouding our judgment between wants and needs. With all this in mind, it seems plausible at this point to speculate on the possibility of a profound link between the moon, the subconscious, and our habitual eating habits. A link which, if understood and properly utilized, could promote discipline over one's habitual needs concerning their eating habits. The focal awareness of humanity shares a common collective within the physical realm of human behavior. Our souls interact on a biological level, from the top of our heads to the soles of our feet, within the limitations of spatial awareness. Our subconscious, the dominant part of our mind, also interacts within a collective outside the constraints of time and space, within the profound unlimited scope of the spirit realm. This huge capacity of consciousness interacting on a subconscious level is the engine of our perception of reality. The subconscious being at least 70% of the mind's capacity and also part of a collective is responsible for the potential offerings of energetic frequencies surrounding our physical reality. From that external potential, our focal consciousness homes in on matching frequencies which harmonize with its specific disposition at any given time. This is how the feedback loop is created and how we perceive reality. Whoever controls our subconscious controls the game. They dictate the boundaries within the potential to our perceived reality through trying to limit and control the scope of the subconscious. When a child is born, for the first 2 years of its life, the child's conscious mind is in what is referred to as the delta state. This is deep sleep or coma-like consciousness. Between 2 and 6, the child's brain activity increases into the theta state. This is very much like being in a hypnotic trance, where the subconscious is fully open and acts like a sponge, downloading massive amounts of unfiltered information, perceptions and experiences about the world and how it works, mixing the real world with the child's imagination. This is when we are programmed during those early years with our own unique beliefs, a reflection of our immediate surroundings our parents' behavior, and our interaction with the community. We are essentially programmed before our focal conscious mind has developed to a point at which it can filter new information entering the subconscious. Consequently, most people spend the rest of their lives with beliefs and habitual behavioral patterns which they had no say in or had very little control over. For the first 7 years of a child's life, both hemispheres of the brain are working together. As they develop, specific thought processes will eventually take place in specific hemispheres, giving rise to the mature mind of the adult. The subconscious can be compared to a computer's internal workings. At birth, you come into this world with a specific karmic disposition, influenced by the orientation of universal and planetary energies. This could be viewed as the computer's central processing unit, whereas all a person's habitual beliefs would be the software downloaded in the first 7 years of life. The software can be reprogrammed, but the CPU is there to stay. This can go some way towards explaining why some people have easier lives than others. Each of us starts off with unique CPU karmic mapping. Added to this is the software downloaded during those formative years. From then on, you are on your own, master over your perception of the world, while the planetary transits continue to influence the CPU. It is up to the individual to make updates to that initial software. The problem most people experience as they develop is that their focal conscious thought processes of wants, needs, and desires do not always run in harmony with the subconscious mind's habitual beliefs. They sometimes coexist in conflict. Because the subconscious is responsible for 70% of the mind and most of our perceived reality, the focal mind's wishes in the physical world are not always fulfilled. It takes a great deal of effort for the small focal mind to manifest our desires in the physical realm, especially if it is running contrary to the massive capacity and potential offered by the subconscious. The focal conscious mind acts as a spotlight on an unlimited array of possibilities offered by the collective subconscious. Our individual subconscious is our karmic disposition together with our programmed beliefs. And because the focal conscious mind's capacity is so small compared to the subconscious, anyone wishing to influence their perception of reality should really start by targeting the subconscious for change, as opposed to battling through their inharmonious gremlins in the physical realm, relying solely on the focal conscious mind. Most people's minds are full of chatter. The monkey mind is a constant stream of random thoughts, images and reflections of events and scenarios. Many of these thoughts are self-sabotaging, negative rhetoric, reinforcing Saturnian pessimism, frustrations, and restrictions. This must be dealt with early and neutralized before it grows into a reoccurring problem, having the potential to attach itself to the subconscious as a new negative habitual belief system. Through the process of regular meditation, one learns to quieten the mind, turning away from monkey mind chatter towards stillness. One major benefit of meditation is its ability to allow reprogramming of the subconscious with new positive beliefs which run in harmony with the focal mind's dreams, wishes, and desires. Everything in this world is possible, not just for a few, but for many. The only thing holding most of us back is our inner habitual beliefs, running in conflict with our physical aspirations. Yet most people in the Western world have no idea how to rectify this problem, which could lead towards a better life of fulfillment, happiness, success, and well-being. To live one's life by solely relying upon the focal conscious mind in the physical realm to guide and solve all life's problems, while ignoring the vast capacity of the subconscious, is like having 100 radio stations, but only ever tuning into a handful. When the focal and subconscious are finally working in harmony, your life's potential becomes limitless, even to the point of illumination. A good analogy to use when trying to understand this whole concept is to visualize a man riding on the back of a large elephant. The man represents the focal mind, and the elephant is the subconscious. During the man's childhood, the elephant is told to go on a journey through the forest from A to B. This does not cause a problem during the early years of the man's life, but as he grows up and starts to think for himself, he finds his new wants, needs, and desires are not in tune with the elephant. He now wants to go from A to Z. But the little man, only a fraction of the strength and size of the elephant, finds it difficult to persuade the elephant to go in this new direction. And in order to create a new path, he has to fight all alone with the elephant and the forest simultaneously. One night the man has a dream where he is shown how to speak a new language, allowing him to talk to the elephant. Over the next few days, the man and the elephant began to communicate and start working together in harmony. He convinces the elephant to change course to the new destination of A to Z. From then on, the man no longer had to struggle with the forest or the elephant. He let the enormous and powerful animal do all the hard work while he sat on its back and enjoyed the ride. The elephant analogy used to describe the subconscious is an interesting one, because in the Hindu tradition, the elephant-headed god Ganesha has many similar characteristics to the human subconscious mind, invokes order to remove obstacles. His large pot belly is said to contain the universe, past, present, and future. He has paranormal powers. A snake girdles around his pot belly. Snakes are nocturnal hunters and are used to represent the subconscious. He has childlike innocence and behavior, just like the subconscious, which was fully open when we were children. Consequently, when we communicate with the subconscious, we have to talk to it as though it was a 6-year-old child in the present tense. He also represents the divine consciousness. The rope Ganesha holds in his left subconscious hand is the weapon used to remove obstacles. He rides on top of a mouse or rat, which represents the human focal conscious mind. He symbolizes life cycles, which challenge us to expand our consciousness. Once you have Ganesha, or your subconscious elephant, on the same side as your focal conscious mind's dreams, wishes, and desires, anything becomes possible.